It's time to discuss the last week in professional wrestling with That Way Cool Wrestling Show Breakout.
Welcome, everybody, to another week of That Way Cool Wrestling Show Breakout. I am your host, the Celtic Casanova, Johnny McIntyre. As we always do here, it is time to pop a fresh one and start talking about wrestling. Don't forget to go to our YouTube channel at DJB Productions Network. You can like, you can subscribe, you can comment. We'll check on the comments. We'll interact with you. This week, I am joined, while Samantha is still on assignment, by my tag team partner of the week, Mr. Dennis Reaper. How are you today, Dennis?
I'm good, man. How you been, buddy?
Doing pretty good. What are you up to? You look all sweaty. You got a gallon of water behind you? That's not the beverage of choice.
I do have a gallon of water. I'm actually on set filming some for a promotion called Outbreak Wrestling right now. So we're doing some TV taping for YouTube right now.
Oh, cool. What YouTube channel?
Day, up there. Yep. Outbreak Wrestling on YouTube. You can look it up. They have, I want to say, we have maybe like 8 or 9 episodes so far. 3 matches per episode, about a half hour long.
You're Outbreak, and this is Breakout. I'm going to be confused the whole time. All right.
It is confusing. Yeah. See, now you have a beer and I have water. That's not really fair, man.
If it makes any difference to you, I'm drinking shit right now because I'm giving up beer for 30 days. So I'm down the bottom of the well in my fridge.
No, see, I can't do that.
So I'm glad to have you with us today. It's been a while since you and I have talked. So pretty much what we're going to do today, we're just going to go through the news in wrestling. So as we know, WWE has started the Thunderdome.
Yep.
And you and I will both be guests at SummerSlam on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And I challenge you. I bet you $1 I get fined before you do, because WWE has said they're not putting up with any bullshit. If you wear AEW clothes, they're going to take you off and they're going to fine you.
So I guess I'd wear a Enzo Amore and Big Kaz T-shirt that says "Real Scots in the room. How you doing?"
That would be hypocritical of them because they sold you the shirt. So I think that's their game. I was going to roll.
I might wear it, or I'm going to probably wear this nice Victory or Valhalla shirt from Valhalla Vision. So
there you go. Wear a Dennis Reaper shirt. Put yourself over.
See, I would do that. I really would, but the Dennis Reaper shirts are not in yet. They're still on ProWrestlingTees.com. I won't buy my own shirt.
/ Dennis Reaper. ProWrestlingTees.com / Dennis Reaper. Is that how we find
Dennis
him?
Reaper Pro. Yep, Dennis Reaper Pro on so it'll be ProWrestlingTees.com / Dennis Reaper Pro, and then they'll get you all 3 of my designs.
You're coming on here for free. I figure we gotta plug your shit and let people buy some stuff.
I've been in the business long enough. Half the time I wrestle for free. So
handshake and a cupcake if you're lucky.
I get the hot dog still.
Oh, you got a hot dog?
I get a hot dog.
More of a meal than a cupcake. Who the hell wants a cupcake in their belly before they wrestle?
I do.
So you're out filming wrestling now. I imagine you don't have a crowd other than the students of the school and whoever else probably showed up with the workers.
Right now we're doing closed sets, so there's no fans. It's just production crew and the workers.
Okay.
We have to keep the guidelines with the CDC, so we really can't have fans in the building, just because of how big the venue is. It's not a very big spot. It's a storage facility, but we have it's pretty much like a full-size garage. Like if you took your car to a car place dealership, it's huge. So we got we have a 20-foot ring. That's an old WrestleMania ring. And then we have 2 small rings in there. So one ring is in the trailer. One ring is we're using for the shows.
Nice. WWE can't keep fans in the building. No, they cannot. Well, those are all the hired fans that they got, Mr. Producer Man. But AEW is actually welcoming fans back into Daly's Place this coming Thursday, a special Thursday night Dynamite this week. They're going to allow something like 500 socially distanced fans into their amphitheater at Daly's Place.
Dude, I think it was awesome when I saw that. I said to Mark Mess and them, I was like, AEW beat WWE to the punch.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Vince really cares about having the fans there right now. He cares more about getting the production done. So them coming, I won't lie, the Thunderdome thing is pretty much, in my opinion, something awesome. It's something different no one's ever done. And it just shows you the brains and the geniuses that work for WWE. Like, to be honest, who would have thought we're going to put screens around besides Blue Meanie? If you saw Blue Meanie's post, he did mention it back in May.
I did see that.
It was the greatest thing ever. He posted and goes, "Didn't I say this?"
He's a man ahead of his time.
Like, so anybody in this business.
I have a different opinion than you. I don't like the Thunderdome. I think the Thunderdome is a bunch of smoke and mirrors for WWE to mask what their problem is, which is the quality of their in-ring product. Which I think is an all-time low. I
wouldn't deny that. I wouldn't deny that at all. Like, I won't lie. I only watch their pay-per-views and NXT every now and then. I can't get into the shows. Because they just, like, don't get me wrong, the workers are phenomenal, but sometimes there's just stuff that's very stale. I love those guys. Like, I have friends that work for Vince, but I watch it as a fan, and if I can't be drawn in, I won't watch it. Like, the only match right now, the only thing that has me drawn in is the Rey Mysterio and his son. Like, that whole angle, like,
I mean, it's a good angle. Don't get me wrong.
It is. Like, I wouldn't have expected his son, Dominic, to take that kind of kendo shot for a contract. But hey, you do what you got to do to get a contract.
I've had the piss kicked out of me in a wrestling ring. I mean, you just keep going and march on. You come back tomorrow and take your licks the next day.
You really, but literally, that's literally how this business is.
So I think you still have somewhat of that Stockholm Syndrome frame of mind with wrestling, as far as, like, you're actively in the business, so it's hard to kind of monitor and look at things in a different way, to whereas I've been removed for about 10 years now, maybe 10, 11 years. So I'm back to being the fan now. But when I remember being active in the business myself, it was just so difficult to look at it optimistically. It's like a magician watching another magician and knowing how the trick is done.
Yeah. Like, I still watch it as a fan, but I watch it more for the believability, in my opinion.
Sure.
And like I said, some matches, I believe 100% those guys are giving you everything they can give you. And then there's some matches you can tell that the workers and stuff that work for any of the companies, like AEW, this goes for them all, like, they've never worked for products without having fans there. Yeah. Some of them never really worked the indies, like they're bodybuilders or models or movie stars and athletes have never worked something without a crowd. Like, being from the indies, we've worked shows with 5 fans. So working with no fans is a piece of cake for us.
Some of the shows you and I have done, you were lucky to have fans there.
Back in the day, ACPW, there were some shows in that building in Derby that we didn't have fans.
That one bar show where nobody at the bar that night was there for wrestling. And they went out there and they're like, "Can you give us 30?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? 30 and in front of nobody? For what?" And then we're sitting there, like, they start taking, like, the ice out of the cocktails and they're chucking them at us in the ring. And I'm like, "Can we go home yet?" And the ref's like, No, keep it going. Go another 10. It's
like, I get more
fans. So that's where I'm ready to cut people some slack.
Yeah, like, when I watch it now, like, being in it for 12 years, like, I watch now people's matches. Now I work in as a producer and, an owner of a company, and yeah, now I look at it from another aspect of the business. Like, I'm glad I'm in that part, but I only get excited for NXT.
See, I
love AEW. I'm not gonna lie, AEW is the show I enjoy most.
That's my bread and butter every week.
Just because it's a different breed of talent there, and
it's a totally different product. It's a 100% pace. Like, those 2 hours go by like that. Where you watch Raw for 3 hours, my God, it's insufferable, and it just
really is
the same shit every segment and every week. Going forward, speaking of AEW, tonight we have Saturday Night Dynamite, and there is one major marquee match booked before their pay-per-view in 2 weeks. You got Cody defending against the Exalted One, Brody Lee. Yeah, this is the first threat for them to take that title off of Cody.
I'm excited for it. And my only reasoning of it is one, we never got to see Cody versus Brody in any other promotion. So it's going to be a first time to see it happen.
Okay.
That's one thing I like. Two,
Brody's
I want to see someone actually give Cody a challenge. Like everybody else is giving him a challenge, but they've never been a Brody Lee.
That's true.
Like that's how I look at it. No one is Brody.
So do you think Cody wins? Do they keep the belt on Cody or do they go a different direction?
See, that's the catch. Like, I don't know. Like, AEW has thrown so many curveballs. Like, we can always say, hey, in my personal opinion, I would hope Cody loses it, let Brody win, and have them go again down the road at the pay-per-view and just have this feud for 3 or 4 months. They build it up more. But if they keep Cody with it, I think it's gonna. In my opinion, I don't think Cody should have the title in the first place.
I agree. I think he's your face of the company, but he booked himself into a corner by not being able to win the main title. But like he's the name right now in that company between him and Jericho. Jericho's not the champion anymore, so Cody really, I think, in my opinion, elevates the title. And like I think he's one of the few baby faces in the last few years that's actually a baby face that's not getting like a visceral, polarizing reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, like out of everybody on AEW, Cody and Jericho have done something that no one else has really done. They've literally left the company, turned themselves into a multi-million-dollar star, and now they're everywhere.
They turned a chance on himself, and it's really panning out.
Like Jericho has been made to do that. Like Jericho has done it every time he's left. He's a self-made man. Cody literally took the ball with it and ran with it, and now look at him. Like he went from Vince to doing Stardust, which I honestly I love the Stardust gimmick.
I didn't think it was that bad. He did it well.
Like it really wasn't bad, and it was his dad's gimmick. Like it was something that his dad thought of. So like you were paying homage to your dad, and I loved it. Yeah.
Like the stuff with Stephen Amell, I really enjoyed. Like I thought, like whatever he was given in WWE, whether it was like the dashing gimmick, the Rhodes Scholars was good. The one where he wore the paper bag over his head, and then the mask, like the dashing.
The mask gimmick was, I think, one of my favorites. Doing that, and then tagging with his brother and Stardust were the top 3 in my opinion.
Yeah. But just to circle back to the match with Mr. Brody Lee tonight, I think we're going to get some sort of like classic Rhodes booking for it and get like a dusty finish to the match.
Oh, absolutely! Like doing a classic Rhodes booking, I think, is going to be the best route for them to go.
I think so
because it's going to be old school mixed with new school, but finishing it the way it should. Instead of going I think if they end it the old school Dusty way, it's going to leave the door open for so many more possibilities, and fans are going to be more intrigued to watch another match down the road instead of doing such a strong finish. And it's like, oh, well, he lost. He can't beat him now. If they face again, why should he beat him?
But the Dark Order, in my opinion, could also be an interesting way to turn Cody heel, which is what he seems to be kind of leaning more and more towards. And I don't know if that's just, again, if that's just they're trying to lead us down an alleyway with it or what, but my mind is starting to see the turns.
Yeah, like we have the experience, like we said, we've been doing this long enough and been in it long enough. We can tell, certain things, but again, they work the boys just as well as they work the fans. Like I'll bring up the Taker Lesnar match. Like whoever in their right mind would have thought Lesnar was beating Taker at Mania.
Exactly. And I complained about it.
Like my heart dropped because I'm a Taker fan. And what they did is they left everybody so sad, and then they gave you fucking Daniel Bryan winning the title. So they pretty much killed their crowd and then put them right back through the roof for Daniel Bryan to win, which in my mind was the most perfect booking for that WrestleMania.
Oh, it was great roller coaster booking for sure. Oh, it was wonderful.
Like, and I know you're not a huge fan of Taker.
I don't like the Taker, but if you watch the Boner Yard, that's where it's at. You got to watch the Boner Yard match.
I did. I loved it.
A mockery of the Boneyard match. It was wonderful. But just circling back, like that's the one thing I love most about AEW is they keep me guessing. Like just when I think I know what they're going to do, they take a left, and it's not like that stupid shit swerve booking of Vince Russo. But let's put a pin in that for now. And you mentioned NXT earlier. You're going to watch Takeover tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually super excited for that. So I'm excited for I'm looking forward to the ladder match for the North American title. Just
is it Grimes time?
Yes. I was literally just about to say, I do think it's his time. And now the thing is I've been watching him from the indies. When I did some backstage stuff for TNA when it was my birthday a couple of years ago back in Allentown is when he debuted and won the Cruiser or the NXT or not the NXT, the X Division title. When he debuted and won, I was there for it. And it was exciting because it was a phenomenal match between him and Peppers and everybody else.
Yeah.
So
I've been
him being in that match, it's one of those like he's the underdog. Gargano, I don't know if he's hurt and he's going to be in it because of getting dropped on his neck. Like I'm surprised he's not dead.
Yeah, it's terrible. That move was so sloppy, and that guy ought to be a shit. What's his name? Ridge Holland. You're the shits, dude.
I don't know, but I just dropped my camera. That's how bad he was. I dropped my phone. My phone literally fell off the car. Talk about him.
Oh, it's
that North American title match is good. Like in my opinion, like that's the match of the night. And if that's not the match of the night, my next match is going to be the Adam Cole versus Pat McFahey, whatever the hell his punning name is.
McCaffrey.
It's one of those. Again, an NFL player is now stepping into our world, and he took the shot and kicked his head off, which was probably one of the nicest boots I've ever seen besides Orton's. And leading last night,
and not sell it.
Yeah, like last night I watched a little bit of the recap from him of the whole interaction in the ring, where literally he told Adam Cole like you can't do anything without your boys, and his boys left. Like we'll go out of the ring, and he didn't even have to tell them to leave the ring; they left.
Yeah, they up
and then when all hell broke loose, it was like, okay, it was plain. It was like it was God, playing devil's advocate. There it was like Adam Cole could have laid him out, but all he did was make his comment and like flat was like, I'm gonna make you my bitch, and threw them and left.
Now see, I saw the same segment, but to me, like I'm like, this is a waste of Adam Cole. I like Adam Cole. He's arguably the most talented guy on the NXT roster. I would beg to differ and say it's Roderick Strong, who I think is the best in-ring worker in the business right now from bell to bell.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
But his promo's not there. His charisma's not really there, and I think that's what holds him back. But as far as pure in-ring work, bell to bell, it's Roddy Strong for me. But with Adam Cole, like I worried that they're going to break him off from Undisputed Era, and they're going to try to push him as a single star, which I mean, he is a single star, but without backing. And I think with his size, Vince is going to look at him alone and just he's not going to be about it.
Yeah, I
really worry.
I honestly think if Cole loses tonight, it's going to be because Undisputed somehow tries to get the upper hand but backfires. Cole's pissed off, or Pat takes his head off. And just that you take him off the product, and he debuts on up on the main screen.
Terrifying.
And if he does, it's who do you give him to? Who's he go after when he goes to the main roster? Because there's a lot of firepower on Raw and SmackDown. As much as SmackDown is not as great sometimes, but there's firepower on both products. Who do you give him to?
I think
help elevate him even higher.
You've got to insert him right away into an Intercontinental title feud. They just put the belt on a babyface. You keep Cole heel and bring up Adam Cole to feud with Jeff Hardy.
I could see that would probably be one of their best bets. That or
I just think with the way things are going right now, that's the best active thing to put him in. But you also have Matt Riddle, who's kind of doing nothing with Baron Corbin and being kind of wasted. And like I thought the direction they were going to go was Riddle Styles for the Intercontinental title, which would have made a lot more sense.
I would have expected that, but when all that stuff went down a couple months ago with everybody getting outed and stuff, I think that hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like everybody's making a big deal that Valentine Dream is still there, and not suspended. But the thing is one, all his stuff that got outed got cleared up.
Yeah.
Riddle's got cleared up. That's why they still have their job. Like the guy from the UK, he didn't get his was legit. He owned up to it. They were like, "You're done. You're fired. Have a good day." They don't play that game there.
Yeah,
You know, that's why when we train guys here, we explain to him, look, whatever you do in your real life, if you get outed, you're done. You will be blacklisted, blackballed, and you will never wrestle again in the country.
Yeah, they erased Jack Gallagher. Like, we're still waiting to even see if what's his face, Jordan Devlin's even allowed to come back in the country. Like, does he still have a job? He's their cruiserweight champion, but they're not even calling Phantasma's belt the interim championship anymore.
Yeah, like I think he's done, to be honest. I really do think he's done because he's been MIA for so long.
He's such an incredible talent. Like, I really wish it wasn't so. But, you know, it is what it is. If you're going to be a scumbag, nobody's going to reward you for it. And that's the way it should be. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're at the top of the card or you're at the bottom of the card, you got to act like a reasonable human being or you don't have a job.
Oh, absolutely. Like I outed when all this Black Lives Matter stuff happened, we had some guys decided to make a video back at the end of the year, call on some guy, making fun of a referee, because they felt like he wasn't helping on his end with gas money to shows. Like,
silly shit.
Whatever. You have your issues. They made a rap video though, and we're dropping the N-word, making fun of his deceased mom, and all it took was like 20 minutes, and me and 3 guys literally have them blackballed from every promotion in PA, Jersey, Delaware, New York, Carolina, Connecticut, all the way out to Ohio. Like, I don't play that shit. Like, I don't care. I don't care if, you know, if you have an issue and you want to make a rap video about someone, go for it. Do what you got to do, but don't drop the N-word. It's not needed.
Keep it clean.
And don't
be
make
respectful.
fun of someone's deceased mom. Like, it's like, and it's like, it was ugly and disgusting. Like, the 4 people that were involved in the video, like, they've tried to reach out to me, and I said almost like, I want to hear your side, but I really don't care though. It's like, you'll never work for anybody that I work with.
At that point, I don't feel like you even get to defend it. I just don't feel like you made this choice. This is who you are. It's indefensible.
And the thing is like, it got posted on Twitter by Grimm. And some higher up people saw it and reached out to him. Then they reached out to me about it. And I was like, look, it was sent to me. And they're like, they will never work. And I will say this, they will never work for the WWE. They will never work for AEW.
Yeah, that's good. It's no longer about wrestling at that point. It's a human problem.
Like, I got a hold of a couple guys. Like I said, I have, being with Mark and them, like, I've met some people that work for WWE. He, you know, Steve Carino trained where I trained. Carino had the video. Like, that's the last person you want to get the video because you will physically block yourself.
You're done.
Like, NXT producer, you're done. Goodbye. Exactly. Have a good day. Your career's over. And they're butthurt at it. I don't really care. Like, I know there's some promotions will still use them because they'll work for $0.
Sure.
But there's promotions like, there's promotion. Would you work for us? I was like, are they working for you? They said, yeah. I'm like, then no, I'm good. I won't work for that. I can't. Like, I know from experience, like, since I don't got a beer, I got you.
No, I'm getting low here, and I don't like to leave the camera to go get another beer. So I think we got to head to last call. My valet's not here.
I can't get beer.
So I don't have anybody to fetch me a beer. So what we do here for last call, this is how we end our shows. I want to hear from you, and then I'll go. What was your favorite thing that happened in wrestling this week? Oh, beer delivery. But what was your favorite?
That's awesome.
What?
So what was my favorite thing that's happened in wrestling, like, recently?
This week? No, like, what this week? Like, did you go back in the archives?
I want to say. So, like I said, I didn't really watch anything on TV lately, because I'm always up here training and doing the production stuff. But there's a kid that everybody needs to pay attention to. He's from WrestlePro. His name's JP Crawford. He did one of my first statements for DEF CON, and this kid literally put on an effing clinic. Like,
and we're not talking about JP Crawford, the Philly center fielder, right?
No. This is a totally different kid from New Jersey. I would tell everybody, look him up on YouTube, look him up on Facebook. This kid is talented. If anybody from the major companies are watching this, physically look at this kid's in-ring ability. I don't get excited much for indie shows, and I was literally watching this match, and I was excited. Like, I was so drawn in for his not just athletic ability, but his charisma, his storytelling. Like, he did things that I'm like, okay, and I was just sucked in, and I've watched it 5 different times. And he worked one of our guys, Brock Hyde, that unfortunately is done wrestling now because he broke his neck after that match. He went for a moonsault and pulled a Brock Lesnar. He fought through the match and he finished it, but this kid tore it the hell up. And then I want to book him again. He's literally like, I'm booked for the rest of the year, dude. I'm sorry.
All right,
like,
good for him.
He's that good.
Indie workers.
Like, if there's anybody, him and Keikoa. Oh God, yeah. Like I like JP Crawford and Keikoa Mana, the MCW heavyweight champion, are the top 2 guys right now on the East Coast that are literally making waves. But awesome. JP Crawford literally is going to make even more waves because of what he just produced. Like the show, like I said, I'm producing my own promotion called DEFCON Pro Wrestling. We just did our first taping, which will air on the first Friday of September at 7 p.m. on YouTube. But he's like the 4th episode of the entire event. I almost want to swap it to the first episode of the event.
Hey,
just because I want it out there.
You're the producer. Get in there, cut it up, put him on there number 1. Open up your show with him. This kid's a hot star. Put the eyeballs on him.
He's the main event. They're the main event of the episode. That's legit how it was supposed to be. He was the main event because I had a bunch of people bail out and call out that day. So he was like, I'll fill in. You deserve a main event, Yeah. And Pat Buck that recommend him too. So
very nice.
Anybody that Pat Buck recommend, I'm gonna use. But if anything exciting wise, I would say JP Crawford on Facebook and YouTube. Like, the kid's so much. He's talented and he deserves to be looked at by the E. That's 100%.
I know what I'm doing when I get off the podcast today. I'm gonna go look him up. But you went with an up and comer for your last call, and it's funny because that's what I chose to do for mine. So on the WWE Network, I touched on this last week. They just added Progress Chapter 92. It's the first of the Progress shows that they're going to add to the network. The main event of that show was Walter defending the title against Ilya Dragunov. I was absolutely sucked into this match. The crowd energy was electric. Walter and Dragunov beat the shit out of each other for like 25, 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, Dragunov is the guy. He speaks English from being from Germany, which is a huge plus. He's got charisma out the ass. He can work. Boy, can he work. He's stiff. He can absorb punishment. For me, Elijah Dragunov is the guy. Everybody's got to go on. That's your homework for next week. Leave it in the comments. We'll discuss it. But go check out Dragunov versus Walter. They beat the shit out of each other, and the finish comes out of left field. I love the whole thing. It was fantastic. But, Dennis, that concludes our time today. Is there anything else you want to plug? Tell us again where we can find Outbreak Wrestling.
I would just say go on YouTube.com, look out Outbreak Wrestling, look up DEFCON Pro Wrestling, which is going to debut on YouTube, and we won't have a debut show until next year in Conshohocken. Look up Dungeon University, where I train. So if you're looking to get into the wrestling business, please look up Dungeon University, Mark Mess, Troy Mess, one of the top-of-the-line schools. Like I said, Steve Carino, Chris Harrow, a bunch of these guys have all trained where I trained. So you're going to learn from one of the best guys in the business. But definitely look at these channels. There's a lot of young, hungry, talented guys on these events that are looking to get it out there, and they want people to be to tune in and watch it. So definitely Outbreak Wrestling, DEFCON Pro Wrestling.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Please tell Mark Mess I send my best. I hope he's doing well. For Dennis Reaper, I am the Celtic Casanova, Johnny McIntyre. You can find me at B_steady on Instagram, Brothers McIntyre on Facebook. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep it too sweet.
Thank you for listening to that Way Cool Wrestling Show Breakout. We'll see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody.